Hello folks, this is Anthony. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another episode of buy or no buy on this Honda HS624. It's one of the most common questions I receive. Should I buy this? They're asking this much money. Should I buy it? Stuff like that. So let me show you exactly what I go through. And this is a machine I just got in today. Let's check it out. This is an HS624. I'm inspecting it for the very first time, so I'm gonna show you, like, I've gone to this guy's house. I'm looking at the machine, whether or not to buy it. And if I don't buy it, I'll tell you why. And if I buy it, I'll tell you why also. So let's start on this. The first thing I look at is the business end of the machine. Now I already know it starts because he brought it out, drove it up. Well, let's look in here. So you folks that have been around for a while, I'm sure you see some obvious problems. These augers are supposed to have teeth on them. They're completely worn down. They'll still work. It'll still collect snow for it to blow, but it's not going to cut. It's not going to cut too well into an icy berm or hard snow. But, to me, these are pretty much worn out. Look at it over here. Can you see the damage on the bottom of the bucket? On both sides, there's damage on the bucket. So that might need some. I'm not sure if this is worth refurbishing the bucket to me, but I'll have to take it off and give it more thorough inspection. You can see the sides of the bucket are pretty worn down. Uh, this should be down here. This whole part should be down here somewhere. So it's a good inch worn out, worn down because they didn't keep the skid shoes adjusted. So they're pretty worn down. Bucket sides are pretty worn down. Let's look underneath the bucket. All right. Holy mackerel. This is bad. This thing is just, look how bad it is. Look, it's split right here, cracked and everything. This is going to need, if I ever wanted to refurbish this bucket, it would need major surgery. I'd have to cut out all the bad metal and weld in new metal. The scraper bar is not too bad, actually. Not too worn. It only might be, 5 years old or whatever. But, this is what happens when you don't keep your skid shoes adjusted. Okay? So, normal people are looking at this machine. This, to me, this is a pass because this costs you $300-400 to have a welder repair this. I don't even know if he would take on the job, but I'll have to take the bucket off to really see if it's worth it. So now let's look at the engine. The engine runs. The owner did tell me that the spark plug is seized in the head. That could be serious. That's a serious red flag. That could be a lot of work. You might have to take the head off the engine if you can't get that spark plug out. So that's a red flag also. I didn't check the belts. Let's see if I can. I can't get the cover off, but I usually check the belts. No big deal. If it needs new belts, it's not that big of a deal. $40 or $50 in belts. A little bit of your time. Then I go under here. I look at the cables. Once again, it's not a huge big deal. It's not a deal breaker if the cables are bad. They just may need it replaced. It's not popping back up like it should. It looks like it hasn't been serviced in years, so it probably needs a good servicing. And before I started it up, now I know I probably drive you crazy telling you people this. You have to check the oil on a level surface. When I checked the oil on this machine, there was none. There was zero oil on this crankcase. And the guy drove it down from his shed to the end of the driveway, and we're lucky that the engine did not seize up. There might have been just a splash of oil in there. So we added a bunch of oil, and it started right up on the first pull. Let me start it. Key on, choke on. Did I put the key on? Yep. Maybe it doesn't need the choke. I could smell gas, so maybe it was slightly flooded. It drives backwards and forwards okay. The chute works okay. Let me look at the tracks really close. Let's see if there's any cracks in here. Usually there's cracks. This machine's a 624, so it was built in the 90s. The tracks look pretty good, actually. Nice and flat on these up ridges there. Usually they're kind of bowed from use. So these tracks are pretty good. So that's, if this was a parts machine, these tracks alone would be worth about $100 a piece. I'm talking about the west coast of the United States. That's the going rate for tracks. I don't know about your area in the Midwest or Canada or Northeast or over in Europe. I'm looking at the wiring, the handlebars. They haven't been cracked. The handlebars are good. So what do you think, folks? I mean, just from looking at this machine, of course, it's pretty dirty. It could use a pressure washing, which I'll do, excuse me, before I take it apart. I'll take this whole thing apart and inspect it very, very thoroughly. Um, if you're just a normal Honda owner looking through the ads and trying to find you know, a medium machine like this, it could do your driveway, it could do decks. It's a 624, which is a 24-inch wide with a 6 horsepower. It's kind of like the 724. Double duty machine, it can do a lot. It's not as powerful as the big boys. If you were looking for a machine like this, I would say this is a no buy unless you're a mechanic. Now, if you're a mechanic that worked on these machines and or a shop owner, I might buy it. I bought it for parts, and the price was right. I'm talking, real low price just for the parts. I'm not sure if this could be refurbished. The augers are they're really, toast. They're not good. Uh, the rest of the machine looks like it'd be used for parts. So I would probably say this was a no buy. You might see these on the West Coast. you might see these for over $1,000. I'm not exaggerating. On the West Coast, you'll still see 624s, 724s from anywhere from, $500 to $1,500. And some unsuspecting person may buy this thinking that all they have to do is take it to a shop, spend a couple $100 getting it serviced, and then they've got a snowblower that's good to go. I think it'd be more than a couple $100. I think it'd be like $500 or $600, with the bucket work and the tune up and trying to get the spark plug out, and it probably needs a cable. It may need belts and bearings. I mean, it adds up quickly, folks, to a lot of money. So for you normal everyday folks, I would say no. If you're a mechanic or a shop owner, I would say yes. Buy it if the price was right. Somebody that like me, I know how much these parts are worth. The tracks, I know what the engine's worth, and everything else. I can use the parts for other 624s. A lot of the parts may be compatible with the 724. So to me, this is a great machine for me. It's great for parts, for future. I might not even need these parts for 2 or 3 years. So, if somebody comes in with a 624 or 724 that needs parts, or they blew up the engine and I can salvage this engine, then I've got an engine for them, or various parts, the tracks and the wheels and the chassis drives. So maybe the chassis would be good for, a future build. So to me, this is pretty good machine to a mechanic, that's got the time, somebody that's retired, that's mechanical. This would be a fun project. But I'm talking about the majority of the people that we deal with on the Honda Snowblower group. Um, Honda Snowblower enthusiasts in our YouTube channel. So the average person, I would say no. It would be a money pit, okay? So thanks for watching, folks. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.